Why does information excite me so much? I'll never understand. But anyways, we're continuing on what we talked about. We're building.
Just make it make sense. Make it make sense.
All right, so we're at the point in creation where God said, let us make man in our own image. And he formed man. First one was the male. That's what he made first. That's what he said. And then woman was ideated because God realized that it was not good for man to be alone. The amount of things that this unravels are going to be quite contentious. So you're free to come for me, but only come for me if path of thought you can see where I'm not making sense, right? Okay? Not what you feel. Because I have feelings about what I'm about to say too. But I cannot refute logic. The only way to test is to believe what I'm saying and then look for evidence of it. Does evidence of this exist? And then it's either going to shatter my belief or confirm it. He made man, then he made woman. Woman was made to banish man's aloneness because it was not good for man to be alone. He made man and he gave man dominion over the things that he made for man. He gave man authority over nature. And then he backpedaled and realized that in this existence something is missing because man is alone. The things that this shows me. Proximity does not create connection, only like-mindedness. Because at the time, the first man, Adam, was surrounded by animals, no? He was surrounded by other living created things, and yet still he was alone because there was not another being like him. Doesn't that actually follow the things we've discovered about feeling alone? You can be surrounded by a bunch of people, but if there is no other human being like you in that room, you don't feel connected and you feel alone. Think about it. Think about it. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense, let me know. But that just, from what I have experienced, what I have observed, this is one of the fundamental factors of being a human being. Once you do not have someone else you can connect with, where they see what you see or they feel what you feel alone, even when you're surrounded by other creations. And you can say, well, all right, Dinah, technically speaking, Eve wasn't like-minded. Well, actually, she was perfectly minded for Adam because she was designed for him. Her mental was designed for his mental wherever it was made at the time it was made. I think it is another duty of human existence to find like-minded people. No one is designed specifically in that way for anyone anymore. You can be surrounded by other people, but if they're not like-minded to you, you feel alone. The other thing that this speaks into is being alone is a state that you were not meant to continue existing in. You were not made to just be alone. Every construct of society that is designed for you to do it independently or alone is going against the design of how you were made. Humans were not made to be alone. Oh, and there are so many constructs of society, all the isms that are pushing this message of you are independent, you don't need no man, you don't need no children, you don't need no friends, you don't need no family. Yes, you do, according to the manual. And according to what neuroscience is discovering about all of the ways that human beings work best. Anything that puts you in a construct where you are alone without access to like-mindedness. It's not about numbers. Anything that is telling you to stop your search for like-mindedness is destroying the human existence, is destroying the human design, because you were not made to be alone. Unless you understand your need for like-minded others, you are not yet a fully functioning human being. You can see how I reached this conclusion from that, right? Because that just makes sense. Makes sense? Yes, it makes sense. Oh, but that speaks to something else. It is only in the full realization of Adam's loneliness that woman was then created. What does that mean? Unless a man has realized his need for not being alone, he go waste your time. A woman was designed to banish a man's loneliness. So the very first marriage was not created for love, was not created for romance. The very first union was then blessed after it was made. The essential reason of what it was designed for. So simple. A woman was made to help a man banish his loneliness. Like we've established, if a thing does not function in the purpose it was created for, then that thing is malfunctioning. And it is never going to be as useful as it would be if it's not being used for what it was made for. So this is the controversial statement. A woman is going to find her highest satisfaction of purpose in banishing the loneliness of the man she was created for. And when that one hit me, I sat with that, and I really do not like that. And yes, all the feminism people gonna come for me. I don't have a man. I'm quite useful, but there's a fulfillment of purpose that was built into me that is going to be missing until I can give my essence to a man, because that's what I was designed for. That's literally the purpose of my entire species. Now, because of the ways that culture and society have really moved us away from origin of purpose, then there are so many nuances to this statement and context which can be discussed, but I am not here to discuss that yet. It'll come, just not yet. You can see the sense, like how that is the only logical conclusion from this scenario, right? A woman was made to banish a man's loneliness. A man has to be aware of his loneliness before he can appreciate a woman. It was when he was aware of that need that God made women. And this is how we end up being mishandled and mistreated by men. It's because it is proving to take longer and longer for men to accept the reality that the only solution to their loneliness is that female counterpart to them. If only they would just understand that earlier in life, you know how many things we would not have to go through? Then again, if we understood that in life, you know how many things we as women would have saved ourselves from? Because we would be able to identify, nope, this man is not aware of his aloneness. As much as he's attractive, as much as he really gets my engines running, I should not align myself with him, because anything that we do not understand, we misuse. That's just a fact of life. If you do not have the full understanding of anything, you either use it at a reduced function, like it has 10 things it could do, but because you don't fully understand it, you only know 2 and you only use it for 2, and you're literally missing out on all the 8 other things that you could be using it for, but you only use it for 2. or we actually destroy it by trying to figure it out. Isn't that how so many relationships go in so many different ways? But at the core of it is this lack of understanding of the purpose of your design. Man was made to dominate the earth, and woman was made to banish his loneliness while he does that. Does it make sense? I don't want you to remove what you know. I want you to filter what you know through the lens of rational thought. Is this rational thought sustainable for human existence because of how a human is designed? Is it sustainable for a human being to be alone? No, it isn't. That's how we discovered isolation is a form of torture. Can a man value or appreciate a woman if he has not realized his need for her? You ever seen it happen? Have you ever seen it work? Because I haven't. I really haven't. Can a woman be fulfilled in her feminine purpose? I'm not talking about career purpose. I'm not talking about social purpose. Can a woman be fulfilled in her feminine design? Because everything about your softness was created for that loneliness banishment. And if you're not able to use it, this is the emptiness that we constantly experience, that we hear about, that we read about, that we try to joke about and slip under the rug and put these walls up to protect. Let's just sit with that for a moment.
So